Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Fulton Street Beats. I have been very busy, as you all know. We have had a awesome Harley Benton Flying V come. We had a horrible Glarry acoustic guitar, electric acoustic come. And now we have another Glarry here on my bench. What we have is a Glarry jazz bass. And if you're not familiar with Glarry basses, I've had a few now. They've actually surprised me quite a bit. But they do tend to need a setup out of the box, and this is no exception. They do have their quirks, but you get a really an exceptional playing bass when you're done for just a little bit of time, sometimes a little bit of money also. Let me elaborate on this. So what I did is I wanted a jazz bass. Well, I have never had a jazz bass. I've had fretless basses, 5-string basses, you name it, but I have not had a jazz bass. So I looked at Glarry, and I didn't want to pay the price for a Fender, so I said I wanted white. So I waited until I could find a white one. Now, I paid $89, I think, for this bass. So that's right, $89, and that is shipped. How do they do it? Well, I don't know, but they do cut some corners. And I'm not knocking Glarry basses because I think they're phenomenal for the money and can be made spectacular. So what do I mean by that? Well, first off, their finish is great. They have a fantastic finish. Plan on adjusting your truss rod. Plan on adjusting your action. Do I say plan on changing strings? Well, I don't know. I think there's strings that come on these, and my experience has been pretty good sounding. Yes, they can be better. Actually, the strings that come on it are better than the Ernie Ball flat wounds that I was running. So, I mean, it's hit or miss. I want to run flat wounds on this. However, Ernie Balls are definitely out of the question. So right now, we're going to test this guitar, now that I've set it up, with the factory strings. So this is factory strings on here. Pickups. Well, I'm going to put a video here. And if you'll notice in the cavity, they're very nice clean cavities. And I ran into a bit of a dilemma because when I removed the pickup, I noticed they had no springs underneath the screws. That's right. You couldn't adjust your pickup up and down. What they did is they put a piece of foam under each one, so it was a set height. So I've changed that since, and now I can adjust my pickups up and down, which is fantastic. And if you guys notice, I also have added this beautiful gold pick guard. Now, it did not come with this pick guard. It comes with a white pick guard, and I wanted to set it off with some gold highlights. And I thought that this looked good, although it's not a direct fit. You do have to do some modifying, and you will have to drill new holes. And speaking of holes, underneath the pick guard, the factory pick guard, the finish is still spectacular. As a matter of fact, it's so nice that if they never drilled for any holes for a pick guard, it would be a beautiful bass without a pick guard, which is pretty cool. The chrome plating, a lot of people, nobody asked these questions, but the chrome plating here on the panel is phenomenal. The bridge holds well, it seems to, anyhow. And what did I have to do? Well, I had to set my action. I like a really low action, with exception of certain types of basses. I like a higher action, but I wanted my action slammed quite low, so I did have to adjust the neck. And when I got this bass, the strings were laying on the fretboard, literally laying on the fretboard. Now, if you're new to bass playing, and I'm really not a real experienced bass player, but if you're new to it and you get a bass guitar and you say, oh, wow, look at the action's horrible, make sure you tune that bass up before you make that assumption that the action is horrible. Sometimes you can have them laying right on the fretboard, and when you tune up the guitar, it brings it right into spec where it should be. And that's because there is a lot of pressure between here and here, and it will bring the neck, bend it forward. So keep that in mind before you start making any truss rod adjustments to your neck. Just a bit of advice. The neck on this is fantastic, and the frets are probably the best frets I've ever seen come from Glarry. They're right up there. They're super, super nice. Maple neck. Tuners hold very well. Probably going to upgrade them. Probably going to do some gold tuners of the same style. Maybe even possibly a gold bridge, and we're going to, maybe even today, change the knobs to a more classic look plastic knobs with the 3 individual sizes. Pickups, I don't know. We'll have to see how it sounds, because you're about to witness the first play of this bass since I set it up. And if it sounds decent, we'll roll with it. I know my last Glarry bass, that was a P bass, sounded really good, and I never ended up changing the pickups. Now, if I do have to change these, we're definitely going to do some active pickups. But let's see how these sound. And what about the nut? I know a lot of you are asking, what about the nut? The nut is cut perfectly. The dots are in the correct location on the side of the fretboard. Apparently that was an issue with some Glarry basses. Not this one, however. Phenomenal fretwork, phenomenal fretboard. It's got a nice weight and feel. It's not over heavy, it's not under heavy, and it feels good. I have tuned it up and strummed a couple licks on it, but I haven't really played it yet. So this is what you're going to see right now, is you're going to see this being played right now for the first time. And here's the back, in case you're wondering. And here's the front. What a wonderful looking bass. No blemishes. So really cool. I do have a gap, as you can see, in between the fretboard and this new pickguard. Just a bit of a gap. Nature of the beast when you're trying to fit components that didn't necessarily come on it. Now, this is not a Fender Jazz pickguard, so perhaps a Fender Jazz pickguard would fit, but this one just needed a bit of slight modification to make it fit. It did fit in this area. It just didn't quite fit around the neck pocket, and it also didn't fit these pickups properly, so I had to Dremel out a little bit for it to fit this pickup. And I had that exact same problem with my P bass when I changed the pickguard. So maybe they're using pickups that are just slightly a bit wonky compared to other pickups, but hopefully they sound good. Okay, without any further ado, let's get you to that. We're going to hop over here. We're going to play this thing real quick. Don't expect anything spectacular. I'm just going to play this for the first time. Whatever comes out, we're going to keep. I'm not going to get crazy. I just want to do a running bass line just to see how it sounds and check out the action, because I know there's no fret buzz. I've already checked that, but I just want to feel it play. Let's see what it sounds like and if it's got potential. Hit that like button, share, subscribe if you like these videos, and make sure you stay tuned for any upgrades we may do on this bass. And if you like it, let me know in the comment section below. I'm kind of digging it, but I'll know in a minute if I like it better. Thanks for watching, guys. And here's that playing video. Bye.